Well, welcome. This is Alan Smith, President and CEO of OneSpartanburg Inc. We are coming at you with some information I think is going to be very helpful. In fact, we've got really the leadership of the United States Small Business Administration with us today to tell you how you can get the help that you need. And my good friend, Alan Thomas, we go all the way back to Greenville, North Carolina and Eastern North Carolina. He's here with us. He is the Region 9 Administrator for the U.S. Small Business Administration. That is Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Mississippi, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, essentially right under the Secretary. So we have the authority with us. We also have state and local SBA leaders as well. Alan, you and I are used to hurricanes. Being from Eastern North Carolina, we do not expect to have this kind of damage this far inland, but the purpose of this call is not to admire the storm. The purpose of this call is to get us on the path of recovery. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to you, Alan.
Well, Alan, appreciate it, and always good to be here with our great friends here in the upstate of South Carolina, and whoever gets a chance to see value out of this discussion. And it is an unprecedented time. I think it's probably been since 1916 or so we've seen this type of widespread damage in the Appalachia area and upstate South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, and Tennessee, that whole regions. And as Alan mentioned, I'm the administrator for the Southeast United States. I cover everything from Kentucky through the Carolinas, Tennessee, all the way west to Alabama and Mississippi down to Florida. So yeah, well, we know a few things about hurricanes and storm impacts and things of that nature. We knew this was going to be different when this storm took a hook left instead of a hook right, which most storms normally do. That was why I was already kind of sounding the alarm about a week ago, because we all know the right side of the hurricane is the rough side. That's the part that feeds in directly off the ocean. And unfortunately, we saw massive. I was just in the upstate Wednesday, actually. I was in the Greenville, Spartanburg area and just beat the storm, making it back here in North Carolina. So quickly, what we'll get into this: SBA, U.S. Small Business Administration. Where do we fit in to all this? The SBA, as you always will hear FEMA when there's a storm. You'll hear the state agencies, emergency management in South Carolina, and others that come in, the private and nonprofit interests that come in. We all have a specific task and a mission when it comes to pre-storm preparation and post-storm recovery. So the FEMA comes in immediately for the immediate impact of the storm with emergency supplies, rescue, recovery, response. SBA follows shortly thereafter, and our mission is much longer in scope. We will be with you, and really our focus is right down to the cellular level. If your house is destroyed, if your business is impacted or destroyed, if your house is not destroyed and your business is not destroyed, but you've taken an economic hit because within your business scope, you've lost market because of what's happened with a hurricane or a storm. That's what SBA does for you. We provide direct access to lending. Even if you feel that you have insurance coverages for the things that you think you have, SBA provides access to capital immediately directly through SBA. And many times insurance can come back and take that out later if you need to go ahead and get about the purpose of rebuilding your business or rebuilding your home. We work with homeowners. We work with renters, nonprofits, and I'll get the rest of the South Carolina team on here in a second. Just wanted you to know the general purpose. This being such a large, wide in scope over 5 or 6 states, we already have 3 or 4 that have national presidential emergency declarations that have already been declared. Others will be declared. So there's a lot on hand right now. You will have operations, that brick and mortar, that you will be able to come if you wish and sit down with SBA representatives and walk through your issues. There's some online forums and online information we'll bring to you here in a second that you can go online and go ahead and access that content. And, hopefully you still have access to your tax returns and other key financial information, your bank records, and be able to pop right in and get you through this system and get your response fairly quickly. And I also want to note that even in the first go around, if you get bumped out of the system because of a red flag, we'll go back and take another look with you and give you another opportunity to get a bite at the apple and see if there's other ways that we can help you with SBA and with other agencies. And so with that, I'd like to, Alan, if we can, I'd like to bring on board, because I'm also helping in North Carolina and Georgia and Tennessee and all across the Southeast, and obviously there in South Carolina, other areas that have impacted, and obviously Florida, which took the initial brunt of this. Michael Core, I will introduce Michael, who is the interim district director in the state of South Carolina, and many of you may know Michael, just a great asset, a phenomenal guy that spent many years servicing there with SBA. We also have team assets. Earl, who I'll let him be introduced by Michael, right there in your backyard that can provide you one-on-one assistance or point you in the right direction. And plus, there will be teams of SBA. We call them the ODR&R. It's Office of Disaster Recovery and Resilience. They'll be right there in your backyard as well for as long as it takes. Long after the media is gone, we will be there with you. We still have hurricane and various recoveries in multiple states we've been working on for a year and a half, 2 years, whatever it takes to get you to the finish line. And we don't like to just come in the communities and do recovery. We want to leave you better than we found you. So with that said, I'll pass it over, Alan, if you'll pull in Michael Core, and we can kind of roll into some specifics about where you can go online, where you can go in person if you need assistance, and what information that you need to have in hand to make this process as quick and as fluid as possible. And we'll be on the ground here shortly within the matter of the next couple of days. So feel free to go ahead and get queued up and ready to get assistance. So with that, I'll hand it back over to you, Alan, and also we'll bring on Michael Core here with SBA in the state of South Carolina.
Well, thank you, Alan. Michael, floor is yours.
Yep. Got it. Hey, so I'm Mike Corp, South Carolina District Office. Just a quick overview of us. We have 9 people in the office, not currently, but we will have hopefully in the next couple of months. So we have Earl Gregorich. He's up in the upstate. He covers the whole upstate area. He's what's called an alternate work site. So he kind of does everything the whole office does up there. We have another person, William Furman, who's in Charleston, alternate work site, and the rest of us are here in Columbia, South Carolina. So that's our team. And then we also have our resource partners. We have I think it's 21 SBDCs throughout the state. So you'll hear a lot from them as we go along. And really, this is probably, you're catching us really early in the process. We literally just got hot off the press the disaster declaration, and we've got a fact sheet, and we can forward that to Alan, who can in turn forward that to you. And I mean, it's on our website also. If I have a minute, I know I don't have much time, but I'll try to pull up a couple documents, and you can really get to all our information if you always start off at sba.gov. And you can go sba.gov/disaster, and that's going to take you into the appropriate areas. Like Alan said, you might start off with FEMA. Actually, I was watching the news last night, and they were talking about the FEMA app, and I downloaded it to my phone, and you can literally just take your phone and go to that, download the FEMA app, and you can apply for a FEMA assistance right there on your phone. You can also go to some of the hyperlinks we'll send you, where you can go to, like Alan said, there's kind of a pecking order. You want to go to FEMA first initially to get, especially if you have major disaster stuff going on, like I know in Asheville, there's always somebody that has it worse, right? In Asheville, they're still underwater, and there's some really bad major stuff going on there, and Greenville got hit pretty hard too. So I'll try to share. Earl, I'll let you intro yourself again and see if you have anything to add, and I'll try to share the screen here. I might have to close myself out for a minute.
So I'm Earl Gregorich, and I'm the Outreach and Marketing Specialist here for the Upstate. I cover 20 counties. Just about every one of them seem to be involved with this event right now. Basically is a triangle from the Charlotte Rock Hill area over to the Georgia line, and then down through Greenwood, Edgefield, and Johnston. So it's quite a wide path of territory, but many of them, unfortunately, have been impacted by this event at this point. So just trying to get out and about. I was just out here the last hour or so, driving through some of the territory, seeing what's going on, and extensive damage, but I'm also hearing great stories about our small businesses helping each other out too. So that's good to hear. They're not waiting on all of us with resources. They're showing up with all the cleanup gear and all the refrigeration and generators, and they're taking care of business already.
It's
Great.
good to hear, Earl. And I want folks to know too, you know, Earl covers a huge swath of land, but Earl's actually in Duncan. So he is in Spartanburg County, and so that's a local contact that we have. Michael, I'll flip it back to you. It looks like you've got some documentation on the screen.
Oops. I think I just lost it. I was trying to change something around here. Okay, there we go. So when you go to our website, you'll see, you know, like I said, you can go to sba.gov/disaster, and it'll tell you all about how the whole disaster process works. But this is also a good fact sheet. And you know, one of the things we're going to be doing over the next couple of weeks too, there's going to be more and more information flowing out. Like I said, we're still in the starting phases. There's going to be some recovery centers there, like Alan Thomas said, our regional director, up in the Greenville area, and other places throughout the state. And they're going to pretty much mirror some of these counties right here, where they're the hardest hit counties, which you can see. You know, when you look at where it hit, it was kind of, if you looked on the map to the left of Columbia, right all the way up. So you've got Aiken, Anderson, Bamberg, Barnwell. Then you get up there, Cherokee, Greenville, Greenwood, back down there, Columbia, Lexington, Newberry. So you got all the areas here. So it'll list them again. And you know, when you go to the website, and if I have time, I know we're going to probably run out of time, I'll try to go to the website too. You can actually go look up disaster declarations, and that's kind of a starting point. But again, just to be clear, before you get to that SBA portion of it, if you need immediate assistance, you're going to go through FEMA first, and then you can look at disaster loans, and you'll see the different types. You know, the business disaster loan, like some of you probably have a business or home, so it could be for your home or your business. You know, when you look at things like where roads are closed, like if you go up to Greenville, pretty much all the roads, I think I heard they had one or two of them open, but everything's pretty much closed. You can't even get in that area in Asheville. I think I said Greenville, I meant Asheville. So that can have an economic impact too, right? Like if you had a business and there's a bunch of roads closed. So there's different areas you can look at. And you
So
can
let
see.
me just for
Sure.
clarification, Mike. So if you're a small business owner and your home suffered damage, you got access to home disaster loans. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Yes, it could be one or the other, or even both.
Both. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
hit you with a few other questions.
Sure. Go ahead.
So, you know, what if I'm a small business and I've already, say I've got an active open loan with the SBA, or, you know, maybe I've gotten some form of assistance before. Am I still eligible?
Yes. And
Okay.
you know what? They'll we're working on some frequently asked questions. Again, you're catching this right in the beginning, and you're going to see a lot more information flow.
Well,
There's going to
Michael, we
be
like to be
links.
first. We like to be first in
Hey,
Spartanburg.
that's great. Don't blame me.
Yeah, right.
Well, you were almost first to get hit, right? For the state, hardest hit in the
Yeah,
state,
yeah,
pretty much.
yeah. I guess if
Yeah,
you want to call that an
that's
honor,
fair.
but
That's fair.
nonetheless, we want to make sure that our folks have, you know, ample resources, information. You know, so if I'm hearing all of you, it's essentially that the first thing you need to do is go to sba.gov, and you know, I heard the region director say too that you know, if you need help, you can just reach out or even go meet with somebody in person. And I think that's going to be important. I mean, you know, government's government, and sometimes a big bureaucracy, and it's hard to navigate this documentation. So, you know, if our folks can get one-on-one help in filling out some of these applications, I think that would be most appreciated.
Yep. Yep. And some of you might have done the PPP and EIDL. So, and when we went through that whole COVID thing, we used to say, you know, typically these are the kind of EIDL loans where the SBA has been used to doing over several, you know,
Right.
50 years or whatever. So, you know, you got some of the dollar amounts up to $2 million.
What
And
are
here's
the turnarounds on some of these?
turnaround time for the loan, like once
Right.
you apply. I couldn't really guarantee a turnaround time. We don't, you know, it's kind of like everything else. If you fill out that form and you have all your ducks lined up and you have all your information is correct and they don't have to come back and ask you questions, of course, it would be a little faster if they have to come back, ask
Okay.
you a few questions, a little back and forth. But we couldn't really
Would
tell you
be very
unless
helpful.
you
Well,
have anything else on that you want to add, Alan.
now I'll just add in that, it's a process that they reconfigured this whole process about 2 years ago. Well, with the new leadership with Isabel Guzman, this was an area of focus for our cabinet secretary, to try to streamline this process a little more. So if you come in and you've got all your financial information and there's no real holdups or no hangups, you're talking a couple of weeks, you should have a pretty clear response of what you're dealing with. And also, you don't have to take the money. You don't have to take the loan. You don't have to take all of it. You can submit for what you think you might need, and nothing triggers, nothing happens unless you decide it's something that adds value and helps you in your recovery process. So sometimes people have a parallel path going on. Maybe they're doing some traditional lending or something they're taking a look at, or they've contact their insurance company, and and sometimes the fine print with that insurance, we all know how that works from time to time. So many times people like to have this as either plan A or plan B. So yeah, we do get back fairly, I would say fairly quickly if you don't have a bunch of any major issues. And I've seen all types of scenarios where folks literally heard back something within a couple of weeks, or even within a week and a half, or it can maybe longer. And if so, we'll have BRCs, which is our business recovery centers, which will be promoted on all your TV channels and all the radio. And Alan will have it here for you, I'm sure. Or you can physically go and sit down with somebody and talk to a human being and get the help you need. We have pretty massive SBA deployment teams that go out post-recovery, post-disaster areas. We'll be here for a long time, for months. And you also will know kind of what your time period is, Alan, of how long and when you can apply it. Maybe like you don't want to deal with this right now, and it may be a month or so later or something that then you want to come in and deal with it. And that's also possible as well. And you'll know that time period. That'll be included within the information that's pushed out, through all your channels. So hopefully that was helpful.
Very helpful. Anything else that you guys want to add before we sign off?
Yep. If I have time, I'll try to share the website real quick here.
Yeah.
And this I won't read to you. Again, you'll have this. I'll send it to you. Let me see here.
And while he's doing that, I just will say, we all know that we're all in this thing together, state, federal, and local. There's a lot of resources. We work very closely with emergency management there, specifically in the state of South Carolina. So we have a great deployment plan with them. And also, if you go to FEMA, they know how to get it with us, and we also know how to get it with FEMA. So understand that you're not in this silo. So we all work together, hopefully symbiotically, to get you what you need. And I tell folks, if you even think you're going to need it, come in and get in the system. Come in and put your information in the system, and they'll make it so much easier if ultimately you decide that you need to pull the trigger or something you need to do. It may not be a big amount, or it may be an amount you need to be able to get yourself back on your feet and get your business back up and running as quickly as possible. That's our entire mission, is about you and commerce and small business, how we can create that resiliency and put you in a position to bounce back as quick as possible and be back doing what you're doing as soon as you can. So go ahead, Mike.
Can you see that screen right there?
We can.
Disaster
Yes.
assistance? Great. So that was the one
I
mentioned initially. You're just going to put sba.gov/disaster. I'm going to see if I can go here real quick. Check disaster declarations. So you can act like you're going to start, right? Apply for a disaster loan. And a lot of times, since I know you can actually look by state and things like that, but you can actually, if you know this is fairly new, just check disaster declarations. And that's interesting. Tropical storm Helene. They must have just added that one. But here's Hurricane Helene, and if you select that, there's the disaster declaration, and then there's 3 documents here, so you can go from there. And that was the fact sheet that I pulled up. So like I said, what I pulled up is right here also, so it'll lead you in the right direction. But
this is very user friendly.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And honestly, the somebody in our office actually started going in the FEMA application for themselves. They lost some roof shingles and things like that, and they said it was fairly easy. I think she already applied. Like she did. I just happened to be talking to her, and I said, "Hey, I went on the FEMA app last night," and she goes, "I did too. I applied for assistance." So she went on there and did an application already. So it's out there. In fact, I think they already had, as of, this was no, that was yesterday, Monday. They said they already had, I think, like 250 applications or something like that, which is fairly quick because it just came out. So then you can go back to, you can look at other ones too. There's actually, it's kind of interesting because we had the other one, that Tropical Storm Debbie with a Y. And we were just now getting some information on that, locations of resource centers. So that may mesh together where they support both of them. But again, those locations they're just now looking at that. So we should have more information where the physical locations are soon. And you'll see a news release. We just got that a couple of, I think about an hour ago. We just got a news release, so that'll be going out too. And what we always tell people when you go to one of our classes or you go on our site, which is actually our office site. I'm going to do that as the last thing because I know we're running out of time and we have a hard stop. Oops. /SC. Oh, come on. I missed a W. There we go. And this is a good place to end too, because this is our district office. So if you need to get a hold, there's Earl's office right there, and I mentioned Charleston and Columbia. There's actually an office directory there. And then if you go all the way to the bottom here, and this sign up right here, receive information about upcoming events, put your email and your zip code there. That news release, which we're getting ready to release, if you have signed up for that, I mean, I'll forward it anyways when it goes out. But if you sign up for that newsletter, we put news releases like that, more information on this disaster will be coming out there, and upcoming classes. Again, we're going to be doing some webinars in the next couple of weeks too. So we might have more information as we go. So just stay in touch and email myself, Earl. I know Alan will always say you can email him too. So just keep in touch with our office, monitor the website, and you'll see more information coming out. Thank you. Any questions? I know we're running out of time.
Yeah, any more, Alan, on your end?
No, we're good. I just saw a link where it said schedule in-person interviews. So I think you'd want to do that too. I may talk when we log off this interview, I may talk to our local guys about perhaps even setting up some hours in our office so folks could come to our office and talk with some directly as well. We're still in an area where some roads are shut off as well. So we can talk about that as you all said. I mean, this is the very, very beginning of the recovery. We just wanted to make sure that our folks had some faces to connect with the SBA, knew exactly where they needed to go. Any final comments? We got 5 minutes left. Any final comments you guys want to have before I close this out and talk a little bit about some of the things we're doing at OneSpartanburg Inc.?
Well, I just want to say, you got Earl, right, Gregorich, right there in your backyard, servicing between Greenville and Spartanburg, that entire region. So you're very fortunate in that regard as an AWS, well, I guess, yeah, service provider in that area. Good South Carolina team, and anything that we can do. And I would encourage, as Alan just mentioned, maybe train the trainer here a little bit. Alan, it might get you into the your team into the FEMA office and to the SBA folks when we get set up. So you'll know just enough to be dangerous, right? If people want to come see you, to know which way they need to go next. We're glad to work with you in that regard and help provide, engagement. So I'm sure we'll be talking some more over the next several weeks, and we'll get through to the other side. And you always can count on that. So, Michael, anything else you want to add South Carolina-wise?
No, I was just going to say our resource partners, too. We have the Small Business Development Center there in Greenville and Spartanburg.
And we've got a great relationship with them. Katrina Meeks already keeps office hours at our office, works very hand in glove with our Power Up Spartanburg program.
and they're already reaching out to us. Like we have a great team in South Carolina, so they're already reaching out. How can we help? We have SCORE also in Spartanburg, Greenville area. Used to stand for Service Corps Retired Executives, but they just go by SCORE now. And we have a women's business center there also in Greenville.
And
so we have resource partners.
Yeah, understand we're doing this same thing in Asheville, in Boone, in Eastern Tennessee, other states. If you have friends or business partners in other parts of the region that you think need help, we're more than willing to try to help them right here, but also put them in contact with folks right in their backyard to get their process going as well.
Well, I want to thank you guys, and I just want to say these guys mean what they say, and this is an example of it because literally I texted down Thomas 3.5 hours ago, and here we are. I mean, we have the region director, the state director, and the regional director, all for you, all here helping us with information. Speaking of information, you can go to our website, OneSpartanburg Inc. All of this is consolidated there. Disaster assistance. We also have a link to where you can be connected to local debris removal companies. So those are local companies here in Spartanburg County. We know in these situations, there's predatory companies that come in that say they're going to do work. They don't do what they say they're going to do. These are local companies, trusted companies, bonded, insured. And so you can go to them and they can start removing trees and any other debris for you. On Facebook, just stay in tune on what's happened there because we're going to continue to disseminate information there. Also let you know, power is back at our office, so is Wi-Fi. So if you need a place just to get a hot cup of coffee and charge your phone and use the Wi-Fi, please, by all means, come by and see us. So I want to close with this, and I've shared this before. I'll share it again. Maya Angelou said, "I can be changed by what happens to me, but I refuse to be reduced by it." And we will not be reduced by this storm in Spartanburg County. We're going to recover. We're going to recover together. We're going to recover with our friends at SBA. So guys, I appreciate your time, appreciate your resources. And the path to recovery has just begun. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.